a big 44 millimeter Breitling Super Chronomat, which was freshly released in 2021. Right here at SwissWatchExpo, we'll go over all the details. You know I'm a fan of Breitling, and they've had a really interesting long history going back to 1884. But during the quartz crisis in the 70s, they had really relegated themselves to making military-inspired quartz watches. But in 1984, for the 100th anniversary, they came out with the new version of the Chronomat. And it was really their return to mechanical chronograph watches. And it was a tribute to the Italian aerobatic flying team. It was a big splash, and it featured the roller bracelet, which kind of looks on the ends like bullets. And so if you remember this bracelet from those vintage chronomats, you'll remember the very rounded ends of the bracelet. It really was the distinctive feature of the watch. Of course, it also featured the rider tabs on the bezel. They're designed to be big and bold, and they're really raised from the level of the rest of the bezel so that if your hand is sweaty or bloody or wet or wearing a glove or something, you can still turn that bezel. But those features of the Chronomat have been brought forward and really modernized. And it's really an exciting release from Breitling because they've updated the roller bracelet. The ends are now flat, and it has a much more interesting and modern look, I think. The way it's tapered is just beautiful. The bracelet itself, because each link is such a small section, you can really get an exact fit. It does have a double trigger, double deployant buckle, so it's very secure, which is important for a watch that's this heavy. This is 18 karat red gold, and I know these watches aren't normally sold by weight, but man, this thing is heavy. So if you ever wanted a gold watch that you'll really be able to feel on the wrist, this is it. If you wanted one to build up those left arm muscles, you're going to love it. But it's a great look, and one of my chief complaints with Breitling a lot of times on a lot of their designs is that they've just got too much bright work. Like every single surface is high polish, and it's just kind of too much bling for me. But this one, I love how the overall theme of it mostly is brushed. It does have some polished sections of the roller bracelet here just as a little bit of contrast, but the case is mostly brushed. It's got a beveled edge here on the case line that is high polish, but mostly what you see is a really soft luster of the 18 karat red gold. It is a 44 millimeter watch. I mean, let's not pretend like it's not a big watch. So it still looks good though, I think, on really even my wrist that's not that big. Definitely a watch that even a smaller wrist could wear and carry and enjoy. But if you're looking for a big, bold gold watch, you couldn't go wrong with this one. A couple of key design elements that they went with that I feel like are a real improvement for the Chronomat. They sort of did away with these ultra-modern, almost magnetic ink-looking numbers that they used to have on the bezel. They've gone to a more typical font on the 15, 30, and 45. And a note about that, a lot of bezels on a lot of watches are made where they'll actually pop off. That's the way you take the bezel off to get to servicing the movement and that sort of thing. On the Chronomat, they are secured, the bezels are secured by screws all the way around. You have to actually disassemble it to take it off. And that's definitely a durability feature that hats off to Breitling for doing that. They've also made these stations at the 15 and 45 at 3 and 9 where you can remove them and reverse them and change it from a count up bezel to a count down bezel, which is a pretty cool feature. It is in brown ceramic, and the dial is a brown dial as well to go great with the 18 karat rose gold. When you look at this dial, it's got a beautiful luster to it. They've kept these really clear, easy to read index markers and hands. The big chronograph hand in red is a nice feature. It's a good splash of color here with the watch. I'm a big fan of symmetrical dials, and they've located the date in the subdial at 6. And the background of the date wheel uses the same color as the subdial silver, so it blends in, looks really good. The subdials are really recessed, so it gives the dial some nice elevation changes and texture, and they're guilloche and circular sort of snailing in the subdials. It is a vertical clutch chronograph, so you could run it all the time like ours is running here, and it wouldn't hurt the movement. It's also a column wheel chronograph, so you can feel a very definite start, stop, and reset when you actuate the pushers. It does take a good bit of pressure, but you can see the chronograph hand starts without any hesitation. These pushers are screw down, so to maintain the water resistance of the watch, you want to keep them screwed in when you're not using the chronograph. Not bad, little operation there to unscrew them to be able to use them. The pushers are capped in ceramic, and the crown, this sort of traditional onion-shaped crown that they use for the chronomat, is also ceramic. It's a good size crown. I like a big crown that's easy to manipulate and easy to grab a hold of and use. It's a little slick because it's ceramic, but it's a nice size. The exhibition case back, of course, this is the B01 movement, so it was Breitling's first completely in-house manufacturer caliber chronograph movement. And it wasn't originally designed to be used in exhibition caseback watches, but you can see it's just gorgeous, and you can see the column wheel mechanism and the vertical clutch. The watch is water resistant to 200 meters, so it's a bona fide sports watch. You could get a lot of use out of it and wear it every day. Breitling positions this as sort of their all-purpose, good for anything watch, and I could definitely see that. I could wear it very casually every day, but it could also go dressy. But when you're combining the elements of a completely watertight sports watch with the chronograph look and the chronograph function, it's just really a great winning combination. You'll see there is a little chapter ring just outside the dial that has the tachymeter scale as well, which gives you that look that Breitling's known for, of having a lot of writing around the dial without it being as obtrusive as it is on, say, a Navitimer. All in all, this is a watch I couldn't recommend more. I'm not normally a fan of the bright work that Breitling uses, but the overall look with the brown ceramic, the brushed rose gold, the practical aspects of the B01 movement and the water resistance, it's just all around a winning combination. So give us a call. We've got a phenomenal price on it here at SwissWatchExpo, especially compared to the retail price, because I mean, this is a lot of gold and it's a lot of watch for the money. So give us a call, see if it's still in stock, get it ordered up and on your wrist.